Now, Michael, you tell me that you're a health dowser. What does that mean?
That I spend most of my time dowsing and being concerned with people's health.
I see.
Rather than using a map, I'm looking at how well their body systems run, whether they're deficient in minerals or vitamins, as obviously they hold quite an important part in the body's functioning.
Of course. Now, apparently there's an amazing theory whereby dowsers say there are precise spots on the Earth which are dangerous and can make you ill, from insomnia to allergies and even cancer. Can you explain this theory to us?
No more than I could explain gravity to you. I know there are such things, but how they work, I don't really know.
What's it called?
The actual faults, there are all sorts of names that are given. They can be called black spots, they can be called unhealthy places.
Let's take a closer look. Before you came tonight, two experienced dowsers, Sue and Barry Wood, marked 3 areas on our studio floor, which, as you can see, are colored blue. They say that 1 is a neutral area, 1 is good, and 1 is bad. That is to say, detrimental to your health. So, Michael, will you go over these spots again and tell us which you believe is the bad spot?
Start off here. Obviously, you usually are quieter and have a bit more concentration. Let's have a look. Is this spot a good or a bad spot? Good is yes, bad is no. Not so good. It's a bad spot. I tend to work in a percentage. Is this 10% bad? Yes. 20% bad? Yes. 30% bad? No. So it's up to about 30% bad. It's about so-so.
Very well. Let's try number
Not
2,
really.
if you would, please.
Right. Right. Again, I'll work in the same way, on a line. Is this a bad spot? Yes or no? No, it's not a bad spot. Is it a good spot? 10% good? Yeah. 20% good? Yeah. 30% good? Yeah. 40% good? Oh, yes. 50% good? No. So it's quite good. That one's detrimental to health. This one would be beneficial to health.
I see. All right, let's try the third spot.
Let's have a look at this one again. Is it good or bad for health? Bad. Is it 10%? Yes. 20% bad? Yes. 30% bad? Yes. 40% bad? Yes. 50% bad? Yes. 60% bad? Yes. 70% bad? Just about on 70% bad. So this one, I would think, is certainly the worst one of the two, and quite considerably so, and that one over there would be beneficial to health.
So of the 3, this is the worst one.
Certainly.
I see. So you believe that one is the bad one, we'll call that one the bad one, and you believe that spot is so bad that it could dramatically affect the strength of someone standing on it. Is that
Certainly
correct?
most people it will affect.
Very well. Michael, will you join me over here, please?
Okay.
Well, you suggested that we do a test on this, and to test that theory, we should invite a real strong man. So please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Ahern, the National Northern Bodybuilding Champion. Now, Mike, I'd like you to try your strength on each spot using this bull worker. But before you do so, let's see how it works.
Sure.
Please.
We set the marker to the beginning here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just give it a little squeeze like so. And there you go.
Better you than I.
Okay.
All right, let's go over to spot number 1 and see what happens.
We set the marker. Squeeze it in.
Oh, what's your opinion, Mike? Did you feel any weaker on that?
No,
spot?
not really. It was quite good. It felt quite strong on this.
I see. All right, let's try number 2, if you please.
I'll just reset the marker. Squeeze. So.
And what's your opinion on that one?
A little bit tougher, I think.
A little bit tougher than the
About the
last
same
one.
as the first one, yes.
All right, we have one more to go, so step over to number 3, if you please.
Okay.
What do you think?
Now, that was a little bit tougher.
A little bit tougher
I must admit than the first two,
second
yes.
one. It was.
Yes.
Keith, would you join me over here, please? Now, the evidence here would suggest that Michael might be in some way affected by these spots. So the first spot was 30% bad, the second was 45% good, and the third was 70% bad. Would you say that that's approximately the degree of...
I would say that the first two are about the same. But the third one, there was definitely a difference.
Well, we must take into account, of course, the fact that you get a little more tired after you've done it here, there, and there. So that might be an element in this. I'd like to ask Sue and Barry, in your opinion, did Michael find the spot that you said was bad?
Yes, he did.
He did, I see. Well, thank you very much for taking part in the experiment. Michael, Sue, and Barry, it's been a pleasure meeting you, sir. Thank you very much, Michael. Well, so far what we've seen looks good, but even between dowsers, there's some doubt about this hotspot stress theory. And yet many people take it so seriously that they alter the patterns of their lives to avoid too much contact with these so-called hotspots. Dr. Keith Mumby, you used to be a GP and you're now a clinical ecologist. Dr. Mumby, how important do you think geopathic stress really is?
If it exists as a phenomenon, I think it could be one of the most important medical discoveries ever. There's an increasing amount of circumstantial evidence, but I have to say no scientific proof. We're not really trying to say that this is a cause of disease or the only cause of disease, but a contributory factor.
Well, Dr. Mumby took us to York, where he had discovered one particular street that he felt was a dangerous place to live because of geopathic stress. Why that particular street, Dr. Mumby?
I was alerted to this by one of my patients, and in fact there were about a dozen or 15 people who died of cancer and strokes and heart disease in this street. It gave the impression that this was an unhealthy place to live.
We visited York with Dr. Mumby and 2 independent dowsers to test his theory. We've deliberately avoided naming the street you took us to and dowsed 2 other streets as well so that we could compare results.
No. How deep is this water? How deep is this water? How deep, 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 how deep?
There's almost certainly the drain on my left.
Which way is it flowing? Which way is it flowing? Which way is it flowing that way? Now, as there's deep down water flowing that way, and in that corner there's deep down water flowing that way, it follows that at some point those 2 water lines are crossing deep in the ground, as so, or so, and a crossing of deep down water is a bad place. Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, I'm well satisfied now. On the second run, this street is perfectly normal. There's no stress other than what you would find in a normal street. We're taking this as a 3rd road we've checked this morning. I'm going to have quite a little difficulty, I think, because of the weather change. I'm quite happy from the 3 roads that we've done this morning. The first one bothered me quite considerably. The second one was nothing at all untoward. This one is marginally stressed.
We didn't prove geopathic stress exists today, but we certainly didn't disprove it. It was rather disappointing that the dowsers didn't find anything in the street that I felt was important.
Keith, you felt one of those streets was dangerous. You tested it, and it was in fact pronounced normal by the dowsers. What do you feel about the claims made for geopathic stress now?